Diving in to game number 1 of our second series this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first game in your second series for the August monthly finals. This is a best of 7 spawning in on the east side of the map, playing in the color blue as the Mongols. It's Wam01.
And on the left side, we will welcome Lucifron 7 after a terrific performance yesterday in the previous rounds, in command of the French with the color red, seeking his first ever series win against Wam01. Never before has he beaten the Wam in an Age of Empires 4 tournament.
That is a scary statistic because he's played up against Wam a number of times, and obviously a best of 7, that's where things get a little bit more spicy because you have to start thinking outside of the battlefield and start thinking about the drafting strategy. Now, both of these players have opted for civilizations that they're very comfortable. Wam on the Mongols, Lucifron on the French. But we've also had some interesting bans out here. So Lucifron has banned out the Rus from Wam, and Wam banning out the Abbasid dynasty from Lucifron. Or at least that's the way I think the bans have gone. So expect to see every civ in this matchup except for those 2 civs for those 2 respective players.
Well, assuming that we go to game number 7, of course, but for that we need a very even series out here, and it looks like Wam is going to open with the barracks out there. You asked me before the set whether we're going to see a tower rush, and the answer is a definite yes. The question is, what are you tower rushing over here? Because if you take a look at the gold mine, that is as safe as it could possibly be for Lucifron.
I feel like Stone's a pretty decent choice, right? Like, France love to go for this early second town center. And it feels like in almost every matchup, they seem to do it. So perhaps that's not a bad choice. And there's a pretty decent spot, for an outpost right there, which was being marked by Vodka up against the wood line. That way he kind of hits 2 birds with 1 stone. Super smart move if he finds that one, though.
Yeah, that's a good one to drop indeed. He's going to have to walk a lot to be able to do that, and there's a backup stone as well. So you get the feel that Lucifron wouldn't really be stunned by a single tower here, which definitely gives him an edge in this. And as you said before, the French have a clear-cut answer to a tower rush like this. So for Lucifron, the key thing is not to take a lot of damage from the initial 1 or 2 towers, because once he gets to Feudal Age, it's not that difficult for him to clean up those towers with the French.
Lucifron now spots out the barracks from Wam. And I think the question is, where do we go from here? So my suspicion, and this would be the suspicion of most people watching this, is that oh geez, I just realized the scout could have come in and aggroed that boar and caused a lot of havoc here for Wam. But typically the response is going to be a school of cavalry that begins making scouts as soon as it's finished on the age up, and then an immediate archery range with just a handful of archers. And then that's going to deny any kind of progression with the towers or the outposts. But at the same time, the scouts are going to be sieging down the outposts after they've come up. And we see that the outpost is indeed going to be going down for the stone. At least it seems that way. So he's looking to deny the second town center here. So what do you think Wam's follow-up to this is going to be? So obviously, he looks to deny the second TC, forces Lucifron to stay a little bit behind on the villager count. What comes next for Wam?
Probably horsemen, if you think about it, because in order, as you said, to be able to deal with the spearmen and stop this tower's aggression, you likely expect Lucifron to add archers. So for Wam, the most natural addition would be to go for horsemen and have that usual horseman-spearman unit composition against the regular archer plus knight of the French. So that would be actually pretty decent for the Mongols, because we have seen it multiple times that horseman-spearman should technically beat knight and archer.
Technically.
Yes.
When it comes down to the micro, this top levels, I'm just forever impressed by how people manage to pull it out. I watched a Lenok game from last week, and he played horseman spear into archer knight, and everything he did, it was by the book, and still he came up empty-handed. So I'm curious to see if Wam's going to be able to pull it out today, but look, he's a pretty decent player. I'm sure he's got the skills.
Indeed, School of Cavalry now finishing, and this is where we'll have to see whether Lucifron opts to go for a knight initially, or he's just gonna go for the standard scouts opening just so that he can torch down that tower. It's only 1 tower that's not really doing that much damage, so you could justify not going for scouts here and just going for that initial knight, but he's not gonna have the food to be able to afford either of those right now.
Yeah, it's interesting this position that he sits in, and now we see the archery range going to be coming up here as well. He's looking to repair away the mining camp. He wants to avoid giving over that bounty. one of the things to note with these French mining camps is that they only cost 25 wood, so sometimes you can actually spend more wood repairing them than you can just rebuilding them, but obviously you want to avoid giving up that bounty where possible as well.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He couldn't delete it before the spearman arrived, so as long as it's staying up and it's not on fire, he's gonna have to keep repairing it just so that he avoids giving the bounty over to Wam.
Well, there's plenty of villagers here on wood for Lucifron, so even if he stops making archers, he's going to have a second plan for that wood, and you and I both know exactly what it is. Once he clears out this outpost, I suspect he's going to be heading straight to second TC town. Hold on a minute. Never mind. Never mind. We don't even need that forward outpost to be cleared. We'll just take the stone on the back.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's why Wam kept the Khan back at home here. He tower rushed one of the stones and he was guarding the other stone with the Khan so that he knows whether Lucifron is going for a second stone mine. The big thing here is that he won't be able to deny this. So the best thing that he can get away with this from is essentially information.
Yeah, that's just it. And we now see arrow slits coming through for Wam, so looking to solidify that position on the front. Also got a horseman in queue. I'm not sure whether it's a double or whether it's just the single, but going to be looking to play that horseman spear combo. It is indeed the double that he opts for here. So I think the question is, where does he go from here? Does he look to just play a very heavy Feudal Age on 1 TC? Or does he look to go for a second TC himself?
I think he might not even have a clear plan on that because it depends on how much damage he can do on the stone. Because one thing is sure, there is no defense back at home for Lucifron against the Horseman plus Spearman. Look at this. Lucifron decided not to go for a single knight just yet, not even a single horseman. He's got 3 archers back at home, the first knight is in queue. And the thing is that the stone was delayed, and this is what Wam was playing for, opening up the opportunity to harass those stone miners with the horsemen.
Now we see the horseman going to be running in at the same time. The Khan down towards the south, and he's got his ice skates on the horseman, looking to try and skate in on over towards those archers, but the knight comes out just in time. A couple of spearmen looking here to protect these horsemen. Fortunately, they got the speed of the skates. He still gets the charge off, though. Jeez Louise, that guy's got a charge and a half, doesn't he? God, that guy just ran forever.
Oh, I love the way that you're tanking up damage with the Khan over here, forcing the archers to stay back home to keep the villagers alive on the stone. And you see Lucifron is withdrawing from the stone before gathering enough for a second TC. And look at what Wam is doing behind this one, gathering wood for a second TC himself. He wants a second one for himself too. And behind this one, he's doing a spectacular job denying the second town center for Lucifron.
Yeah, this is super smart from him to do, and something that we sort of recognize that you're not going to be able to delay. By hitting the gold, you don't really do much, but by hitting the stone, that really hurts the French player, because now all of a sudden, they're not really keeping up with the Kardashians, because Wam is 90% of the way towards that second TC.
I love that you just throw in the keeping up with the Kardashian meme. I think 2 days ago, I saw a post on Reddit, which was like the Drongo Bingo. And one of the cards on the Drongo Bingo was the keeping up with the Kardashians. So whoever is doing the Drongo Bingo for today's broadcast, you can definitely cross that one out.
What can I say? I am a little bit of a fan of the family. I do like to keep up with them. But speaking up with keeping up, the Khan going to be going down, and good game undoubtedly going to be called in Twitch chat immediately upon that Khan being taken out. Somewhat ironically, with the Khan going down, it will be back. It is a zombie. So out of all the units to go down, you would expect the Khan would be the least relevant. But yeah, Twitch chat well and truly called good game. All right, well, I think we just close prediction now, yeah?
You can also cross out another one from Drongo Bingo with the Khan going down. Make sure that you highlight on chat when you have the bingo on the bingo card. Like, let us know.
All right, well,
he misses
second
the
town center
villagers.
coming. Yeah, that's plenty of villagers down towards that position. Knight's looking for a nice little charge. Only one of them going to get it off, but beautiful little spot down here with the TC right along the edge of the map. Can we take a look at Wam's perspective? Now, he did only go for a single scout opening. That's with the Khan. Did he spot this hunt on the edge of the map? No, he didn't. So this is basically a free TC that you get.
Kind of, because if you think about that, he has spotted or at least scouted the rest of the map. So he should have a decent clue of where the second patch of hunt is, even if he doesn't have visual confirmation. But yeah, right now, he doesn't have a confirmation on that. And he also missed out on the villagers. He saw the stone mining, so he knows that there is a second town center, but he's yet to figure out where exactly that is.
Yeah, that's a great point. It could be tucked away at the back, or it could be on the berries. There's so many places it could be. But unfortunately, we don't have a Khan, so there's no way for us to scout it. But speaking of scouts, the scouts jumping inside, or rather looking to siege down that outpost. Going to be trying its best to pick off the archers, managing to take out one of them as the archers do indeed force those spears back. But hold on a minute. Hold your horses. Ooh. The horses are running out towards them, looking to try and pick them off. Charge coming out from the knights, and things looking good at the moment for Lucifron as he cleans up that outpost from the front of his base.
Indeed, he finally cleans this one up. He still needs to be careful, though, because he's splitting up his army, and Wam is trying to exploit that to the best effect right now. Still, though, as you said, the army is much, much better. 6 knights, 6 archers, as opposed to 3 spearmen, 3 horsemen. You get the feel that Lucifron's got much better momentum here.
Yeah, it definitely feels like he's got the momentum swinging his way. I would suspect, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Lucifron just go very heavy knights from here. Look to potentially add in a second, maybe even a third stable. He's going to continue producing those. There we go. There's the second stable now coming in. And he'll continue producing archers because you're going to need those. But you don't need a lot of them. As long as you got enough to just one-shot a spearman, then that's pretty much it. The knights, as long as you screen them well and use them effectively, should be able to defend those archers.
Yeah, this is a tricky scenario for Wam to be in because he wants to go into Castle Age, but he has to be careful because this could be punished by Lucifron. What he's essentially gambling on is that Lucifron is also greedy. So many times we see the French players just making a couple of knights, trying to raid, but not committing that much to army and just trying to play greedy themselves. But if Lucifron decides to go very aggro here and keep producing army, he could punish that early Castle Age from Wam.
A little bit of a raid now coming in, gets repelled away by Lucifron. And now Lucifron looking to return the favor underneath the town center, gets a villager for his troubles, and one of them down to about half health with taking the charge. Now that Khan just going to be falling back. The Khan is back. The Khan is alive. And Twitch chat is ready to come around for round number 2.
Indeed. You get the feel that there could be a lot of chances for the Khan still to die. For the time being, it's going to be one of his hero horsemen to give his life for the Khan.
All right, well, the match continues to progress, and Age 3 going to be the way that Wam is looking to go. No real surprise just there. Lucifron on the other side, though, he's stacked up plenty of food, but not a lot of gold back here. Still, we see that he's actually investing in chivalry coming through. So, to me, that almost indicates he'd be intent on staying in Age 2 a little bit longer. Might have found the perfect timing as Wam was expanding underneath his second TC. It gets denied. Well, well, well. Look who came knocking on the front door. It was Lucifron, and he came with plenty of units. Absolutely destroying this. Yeah,
what a timing out there. And remember that Wam didn't field that many army. So Lucifron knew fully well that his opponent is trying to get to Castle Age, spotted the landmark, and he decided to dive in. And he could possibly have a chance to deny this again. He needs to know that the landmark is being placed elsewhere.
Oh, it's so tight. Now those knights moving in once again underneath the TC. He's looking for it. He's like, where's that damn landmark? The Khan! The Khan! No, the Khan goes down. Good game. Sure to be called any second by Twitch chat. Where is it, Twitch chat? Come on, let me see it. But he continues. He actually spots a couple of the outposts. That should have been the giveaway. And you can see he immediately jumps in the outpost. Wam, very scared for his life right there.
I'm actually very surprised that Lucifron didn't probe the gold mine anyways, even if he thought that the landmark wasn't gonna be there. Probing the gold mine is always good value. Looks like Wam is gonna get away with this, but the price to pay is massive. He fell behind by 8 eco, and what's more concerning is that Lucifron is not gonna be that much behind in Castle Age timing, possibly even aging with the Royal Institute, and that is where the real power spike of the French will begin.
No, don't tell me that's a guild hall. Don't tell me that's a guild hall. You can't be making guild halls in 2022, Lucifron. What is this? Did your mum not tell you anything? Well,
this is very risky.
The guild hall.
It's risky because there is a crazy bug with the French, which should not happen because the chances of this happening is rather low. But here's the deal. So right now, if you research royal bloodlines in Imperial Age on the university with the French, and the university you researched it on gets destroyed, you lose royal bloodlines and you can never research it again. This is a crazy bug, and the reason why it doesn't happen frequently is because players usually don't snipe each other's universities. But part of the reason why so many players go for the Royal Institute, aside from the fact that it's very powerful by itself, is because that guarantees that this would never happen to you.
It seems like that big charge in the middle there. I feel like that horseman, you know, the way the two sets of cavalry charged at each other. Second rugby reference for me tonight, and it's rare because I don't watch rugby, but it looked like two rugby. You go right now to YouTube, Google rugby big hits. It looked exactly like that. Two of the biggest, fattest 150 kilo guys hitting each other at full speed. Unfortunately, one of them did get knocked down. It was the horseman.
I mean, well, with the devs changing the amount of smoke that's coming up at the charge of the lances, it really feels like that. Like, the amount of smoke that gets released when they charge into one another, it's like, I don't know, a 1967 Soviet-era tractor.
That is oddly specific, but yes, I agree. I agree with you. Now the knight's going to be chasing the lances away. He's got a monastery in the back here. We'll be nice and close to pick up these relics. There's plenty of them across the middle, and he's only building these outposts with one villager. May live to regret it as the first one does go down. Second one taken out as well. Villager count begins to dwindle. Wam is looking to even this up. The Khan, go. No. Be careful, Khan. You've fought yourself one too many times in this game already.
Knight numbers are relatively even here.
Yeah, 10 against 10. Not a terrible number, but obviously, I guess the big factor here is we don't have to worry about royal bloodline. So Wam should be okay in this castle age.
One thing that Wam doesn't know is that it's the guild hall that his opponent aged up with, so he still needs to respect his opponent's potential to go for royal bloodlines, and he needs to keep checking the HP of the enemy units so it doesn't run into a dagger like that, because he simply didn't scout the guild hall just yet. At some point he's gonna figure out it's a guild hall, but for now he needs to respect the opponent's ability for royal bloodlines, despite the fact that Lucifron can't even research that right now.
Things starting to look a little bit scary for Lucifron down on this south hunt.
Yep.
There's a lot of reinforcements coming in, but at the same time, Lucifron looking to bring more to the party and going to be successful here as the charges don't quite get off. The scout, unfortunately, doing a little bit of blocking, and the Lance is going to be able to get away scot-free for the moment.
And look at that, the escalation is much better from Lucifron. He's ahead in eco, but more importantly, he's picking up relics and he's walling himself off. Walls that could easily be the difference makers in here with so many Lancers on the playing field.
Fortunately, on this map, only one player is going to be walling themselves out because the Mongol, well, they don't have access to walls, at least not yet. But I do hear in the next update that the Khaganate Palace is going to be unlocking walls for the I'm kidding, but at the same time, watch this space.
Technically, you can make walls out of solid towers, no?
Technically, yeah, I guess you could. But, I mean, speaking of solid towers, we're still really yet to see any sort of outpost trench begin building. And I suspect that's largely because there's not really an infantry mass that either player have developed yet. And you won't really see those trenches begin to build until the infantry starts to come out for the Mongol player. By those trenches, we mean those wall of outposts that we do see.
Indeed, and that is where the Mongols could be the most vulnerable at, because you still don't have those millions of towers protecting you, but you also don't have walls to defend yourself with. So this is the period where the Mongols are possibly the most exposed to raids.
Well, speaking of exposed, unfortunately that shaman wasn't wearing anything, it seemed, and did go down. Almost forgot his underpants. He was just taken out completely. But knight numbers still looking pretty even. I will note that Wam has begun training crossbows.
Indeed, he's the first one to deviate from the full knight composition, but it's a risky move for him to do because he could easily lose out on the mobility aspect of the game, even with the YAM network being there for the crossbows.
Yeah, well, fortunately, yeah, the villagers managed to make it inside of the outpost before any real danger comes through. A little bit of a pickup back here on the other side, and geez, action all over this map. It reminds me almost of a French mirror. We're just seeing knights upon knights fighting it out.
Yeah, exactly. Very reminiscent of that, actually. In the meantime, Lucifron is going to secure the majority of the relics. He's going to get a discount thanks to the keep. But the most important thing above all is that we've been forgetting about that guild hall for a while. It's slowly stacking up resources and it's going to come online soon.
How much are we sitting on at the moment? 800, and it's gold, baby. That's the good stuff. Yeah, that's nice. And it is going to get scouted out, so Wam definitely does see it. He's just done a little bit of a run by. The knight chasing past. He's going to look to defend that position, but the Khan, once again, scouting out and moving with its lances in tow. It's got to be careful. The charge comes in. One of the knights does go down. Crossbow numbers looking pretty good, and oh, that's a lot of barracks going down. So we might have a bit of a switch coming out from Wam. So expect to see that trench that we talked about coming out shortly. Look at that. How many barracks do you want? And Wam just responds, yes.
Yes.
That was a lot of barracks.
Oh my goodness. 5 barracks, 3 stables, 4 ranges out there. This is something that Lucifron should be prepped for. He sees that there are no more Lancers on the playing field, only a handful of them left, and there are just no reinforcements coming in for Wam. These reinforcements, or these units here, the leftover Lancers, they're doing some damage here on the eco though.
Yeah, the consequence of taking these larger walls, you can see how Lucifron has sort of tried to wall across the entire map and not doing the smaller walls, is that these Lancer raids do eventually get through, and they do hurt.
I mean, probably contributes the fact as well that he left like a big hole in the middle that the Lancers can just run past. I feel like if he had those walls up, it would be a little bit more difficult for Wam to raid.
Yes, that is true. A gaping hole in the walls will allow unfortunate Lancers to enter. But those outposts getting cleaned up. We can see that he is pushing forward. The infantry blob has assembled, and now it's time for the trench to be dug. The villagers are out in tow, looking to try and build this position up a little bit further. The Monk gets sniped out. We've got the Knights that are running past the spears. They don't care right now. They're like honey badgers. Did he just kill the boar as well? He just took out the boar in one foul swoop. And now the Knights looking to come down on top. Oh, that is not a good trade right now for Wam. Lucifron looking incredibly strong. Unfortunately, the trench not going to be able to be dug. I mean, he gets down one outpost, but I'm starting to think it might not be enough. The Khan goes down. Surely this is a good game right here, Lidicor.
Oh, I mean, it's looking terrible for Wam, actually. He was hiding his infantry transition for a while, but he didn't have the spearmen on the battlefield. He only had a handful of them to support the crossbows with. So Lucifron was able to take a much better engagement than initially thought. And if you take a look at the numbers, 13 spearmen, 11 crossbowmen on a wide open playing field against 24 knights, that doesn't look good for Wam.
It's one of those things where people, I can just see the Reddit post right now. It's like, somebody explain this to me. Okay, so he had 26 knights and I had 12 spearmen and my spearmen lost. What do? And then you've got, I mean, you've got a Reddit post with 1,000 upvotes and people just agreeing in the comments. And that is essentially what happens right here.
Yeah, how about, look at that food eco. We gotta go back on that. Oh, he moves away. He didn't want us to see it. Come on.
Oh, but the villagers now getting caught with their pants down, heading back towards the town center. Unfortunately, the TC's already full, so you're going to need to find yourself somewhere else to live, my friends, because we don't have space for you guys around here. Fortunately, plenty of spearmen able to repel it, but now we've got ourselves some archery rangers coming down for Lucifron. Looks like the first deviation away from Knights this game. We're at the 22-minute mark, and the French player has literally made nothing but Knights.
I mean, it's a cat and mouse game that Wam is playing, right? Because he's just pursuing those knights, and keep in mind, those are not full-price knights anymore. He's using the castle discount that he has, and that's a big difference maker here. That's why he's just allowing himself to spam these and just slowly grind down the economy of Wam here, really.
Yeah, he's doing a really decent job just heading into there. You can see he's only got an 11 villager difference at the moment. So it's not a huge amount of difference, but obviously the scaling is always going to help, and French typically wants to be a little bit ahead. We've got economic upgrades coming through for both of these guys at the moment. Ironically, they seem to be the same upgrades. It was double broadaxe for both of them, and now we see that horticulture's already come through, so it's going to be fertilization instead.
Indeed. Looks like Knights are actually getting cornered over here. You don't want to lose these guys, though. Lucifron not paying attention. Painful hits coming in from the spearmen. Yeah,
big hits. We see the blacksmith on the Uvu. Indicates that he's probably going to be moving for improved siege engineering. We'll take a look and see whether he's got it yet. He may already have it. Let's have a look. I'm going to click on one of his infantry or his blacksmith very shortly. Any second.
And there it is.
It's already in. All right. Well, the Knights continue evading the enemy for the moment. There's no walls from the Mongol player, so he should be able to get through here without too much of a hassle.
Yeah, it's a delay game right now. Lucifron doesn't want to do anything with those knights other than just to buy himself time to switch into Arbaletrie, which in a straight-up fight should easily win against the crossbows using the Pavise. Obviously, Mongols will have the ability to add siege, as you mentioned. In fact, we already have some traction trebuchets out there. Yet to see the first Mongol appear on the playing field, though.
But remember, it is only a improved siege engineering away. Well, there it is. But I guess the big thing for me is no real trench has been built yet for Wam. And that's a big factor, because in this matchup especially, you're going to want a trench defending up against those knights. They will love to dive your siege. By having that trench, it's going to guarantee that you've got a way. Oh, take a look at that. Did you see that monk? He copped a boulder on the head, and he's like, man, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's just a flesh wound. It's cool.
It's a
See if he
boulder
lifts
that's
us
meant to destroy buildings, right?
It took like 12 damage against that. It's like a boulder crushes me in the leg. It's like, I'm just going to get up. And Sacred Site victory is now being approached. We've got Lucifron with all 3 captured. Unfortunately for that Monk, he does take a few too many arrows to the knee and does unfortunately go down. But the numbers here looking pretty decent for Wam. He's trying to hold on. The Mangonel moving forward. We don't see any siege coming out at the moment for Lucifron. He's going to need some sort of response that isn't cavalry to these units. More Springald's coming out for Wam, and the defense looking pretty decent. He's got to be careful not to overcommit to that Springald. He does indeed cancel it. Still, the numbers looking pretty healthy for Lucifron on the defense here.
Is it healthy though? 47 army against 91 from Wam. Wam almost pop-capped over here. And as you said, no response to those Mangonels. A single volley could wipe out the Arbalettrier.
And now the Knights look to try and charge in. He's only got 15 of them on the field. It looks like about 8 on screen. A bit of a raid coming in on the east side of the map at the same time. And now these farms are under threat. The consequence of going for forward farms. It's never a fun strategy, and Knights getting cleaned up. A little bit of a raid coming through, getting cleaned up over on that eastern and northern side as well. Crossbows holding on for the moment. Mongol raid bounty must be looking juicy right now.
It is looking juicy, and the army is also looking very juicy. Lucifron is struggling with population, struggling to spend those resources because he needs to make a complete tech switch in here. He wasn't prepped for such a big army to push him, and he might not have the window to make a tech switch in time.
Yeah, I never would have expected siege out of a Mongol player with a blacksmith on the Uvu, but now a beautiful little hold from the spearman, looking great as the crossbows continue to pack it. The Khan knocking out units, the trebuchets unfolding on the back line, and now things starting to look a little bit heated for Lucifron. Just when you thought the defense was good, where's that Pavis shields? Lucifron, drop the Pavis shields, get him out!
He can't drop them because the Mangonels are still alive. Beautiful moves from Wam to shield the Mangonels away from the cavalry. And all the knights are gone. Lucifron is down to 34 army with only Arbalettriers and no means to deal with the Mangonels. He's outnumbered 2-1 with a unit composition that he can't deal with right now.
Yeah, but the Khan got killed, so it might look bad for Lucifron, but realistically, Wam is seconds away from typing in good game any second now.
Well, I beg to differ on this one. I think the only one that's thinking about the GG right now is Lucifron, having his entire food eco wrecked right now as well. The monastery also exploded, and as you said, the Mongol bounty, this is where it's really coming online.
Yeah, but trebuchets, look at these guys taking out the keep down here to the south. I mean, Wam's done an incredible job here defending this position without even needing any form of trench. You know, typically we talk about this trench, the concept of outposts with Springald emplacements in them, defending the siege line from the knights that are running and rampaging through the back lines, but he didn't even need it. He just held with crossbows and spears, and that was all he needed.
Yeah, Lucifron holding for the time being over here. Springald numbers are equaling out, and he might find shelter behind those keeps. Also finding some good raids over here could easily be his ticket back into this game.
All right, well, slowly but steadily, he continues pushing forward, but the raid doesn't look successful. I say it doesn't look successful. There's a handful of villagers going to be going down right now. Still holding on. Horseman looking decent there as well. He could get a nice charge off, but there's still quite a bit of spearmen back here.
Yeah, quite a lot of spearmen actually. Crossbows still in good numbers. If you can get rid of the Mangonels, then the Pavisev will win you the war, but you first have to get rid of the Mangonels. Speaking of whom, where are they?
Yeah, they're yet to be seen.
There are 2 of them on the field, according to the overlay. Where are they?
He's hiding them. They're in a secret hiding place.
Okay,
oh, there
they come.
Now, in the rear with the gear. Let's just put it that way.
One keep goes down.
And a new Khan rises. So when one goes down, another one shall take its place. Build it and they will come. But, I mean, Wam looking pretty decent on the economy at the moment. 115 villages. He's got 2 relics to the 3 of Lucifron, so hasn't really fallen behind in that regard. Everything looking good for him. And I think the big factor is if these 2 civilizations enter the late game together at an even footing, you have to give the advantage over to the Mongols.
Absolutely. So for Lucifron, he needs to make something happen here. He needs to take a decisive engagement. Army numbers up to 73 now. He was quietly amassing an army and waiting for the decisive engagement. The question is whether he can take one here, because now he's facing numerous towers on the front line. As you pointed out, now the trenches are dug, and counterattacking this for Lucifron is gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, this is so hard to fight out of right now, and the resource is going to continue increasing for Wam. He could be thinking about an Imperial. My question is, does Lucifron have anything in the guild hall at the moment?
2.4k
think about that a little. we might have to think about that a little bit later. Well, yeah, that's a good point. Little bit of an attack on the front, fighting up against the spears with the horsemen. Arbitratria on the backside. Where are the Springles, though? There's meant to be 2 Springles out on the field, but I don't really see them. There they are on the backside. Now a little bit of a charge moving up. Managing to take out the Mangonels. Still holding on the crossbows. Look at the Pavis go.
Oh, the Mangonel fire, though.
Damn! How do you fit in them jeans with that much oomph? God, lord, jeez.
That's like half the army of Lucifron wiped out in a matter of seconds and villagers not being pulled. Vam feels the blood in the water.
Oh, it's not looking good right now. The villagers getting pulled. Both of the Springles going to be going down. The third Springled moving forward as well. Going to get taken out. See you later, mate. And things looking good for Wam. He's sitting on 182 population up against the 144 of Lucifron, just pumping in on top of his production. And this is the big thing to remember. He's sitting on top of the production, so any new units that get produced get immediately picked off. They never get to regroup and join the big battle that's unfolding, or at least they do for a very short amount of time.
Indeed, also buildings taken down will give a bounty to Vam over here, adding in a lot of spears as a response to those horsemen now, and you get the feel that now Vam's unit composition is looking a lot better, once again possessing a 2-to-1 army advantage here.
Yeah, things not looking good right now for Lucifron. The Khan went down, but it doesn't matter at this point. Oh my god, he went down again! Not like this! No, the Khan goes down once again. And it doesn't look any more likely that the game is going to flip. 59 military population, 35 for Lucifron, but he's holding on. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
If he can hold out, he has a stellar amount of food in that guild hall, by the way. So he just needs to hold somehow in this one, and with the Mangonels gone, Pavisa is going to be more relevant than ever.
It's just a casual 3,800 food chilling out in the guild hall for now. You know, maybe we'll take it out when we're at any point challenged. You know, the Khan is dead, so the game is over at this point. But in the event the Khan were to come back, maybe we could take it out then.
Oh, there it is. He pulls the food for 2 reasons. Now he needs gold, and more importantly, because he suddenly is in a desperate need of just resources, because either he wants to go to Imperial or he wants to go for a counterattack. Whatever he wants to do, that food comes in pretty handy, and it looks like he just wants to go for a counterattack over here.
Yeah, he just took out the food and he's begun spending it immediately. I think he might have even traded away a little bit of it. He's sitting up on 1,000 stone at the moment. He's put a couple of Arbitratria as well as horsemen into the queue. I mean, at this point, Lucifron's up about 6-0 in this series after killing all of those Khans. He pushes forward once again, looking to try and take out the trebuchets. Does get a couple of charges off onto them. The first one does go down. Second one, almost going to go down. Oh, it looks like it's good. He gets it. The conversion is good. 2 points going through for Lucifron, and he stalls out the push once again.
But there is Vam with the cavalry. This is not something that Lucifron was prepped for, and he doesn't have an answer to those veteran horsemen charging down his Arbitratria. Suddenly, advantage to Vam once again. 65 army against 46 on the other side.
Yeah, he's still trying to hold on his best, and we can see the keep firing down a couple of arrows as well. But now the horsemen running in. Wam looking really good. I think he might be cleaning this one up completely. I think this might be a good game right here.
It's just relentless pressure. He's not allowing Lucifron to recover. Every time Lucifron needs to make a tech switch, he just is not given a window. Because Wam is just sending in wave after wave of units. Might even try to deny this keep over here. It likely goes up, but the price is gonna be high for this one for Lucifron. Yeah,
fortunately, these crossbows don't fire too fast, and the keep is able to get up. The defense is on. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. The Khan was dead, and with that, Lucifron says, well, hold on. I'm just gonna bite my tongue. I'm gonna bide my time, and we're going to wait a little bit longer, and Lucifron does the impossible. He somehow holds. How could the casters be wrong? I've never seen that before. Casters being wrong.
Yeah, it should never ever happen, right? Oh man, the concern for Vam now is gold. He's desperate for gold, crawling to the front line to take any.
Yeah, well, this is where it starts to get really difficult. Are we able to take a look at how much gold is left on this map? Because this fight just seems relentless. More horsemen going to be coming in for Wam. Looking to try and circle down upon those Arbitratria. Another gold up towards the north. There's 4k on that bad boy. Villagers moving forward. A 4k in the back. There's 4ks everywhere. Take them or leave them. There are plenty of them.
Indeed, and love how Vam is just stripping the map barren of resources. He's got this positional advantage. He's going to take away the enemy's gold and leaving his own at the back as a backup. On the other hand, the Lucifron is closer and closer to breaking out here. You get the feel that he's taking better and better engagements. He just needs to get rid of these towers, really. And once that's done, he could be a rejuvenated person, really.
Yeah, that's it, and that's exactly it. I mean, at this point, though, Lucifron, My question is, can we take a look at the guild hall? Does he have this bad boy on gold? Or has he got it on something different? Maybe stone, potentially?
He now needs it on gold. There it is. Okay.
Yeah, he's got it on gold. Yeah, 540 gold in the bag. So not too bad for him at the moment. I guess the big thing I'd be looking out for him is a larger farm transition. Try and bank up that 2k food, and then pull out the gold once you've got enough for Imperial. Getting Imperial might actually be a decent way to keep your head in this game. Maybe move towards those Imperial Knights or Imperial Arbaletier. I mean, Arbaletier looking very good in this matchup at the moment. Holding on with the Pavis shield together with that extra armor from Gambesons. But now those Springolds moving forward, taking out the siege. Arbaletier trying their best to take it out. Managed to take out the first of the Springolds. Horseman going to get eaten alive by the Spearmen.
Indeed, that's a nice trade out there for Wam. Also coming in with the raids now. He has had the initiative for quite a while, and now he can afford to detach some horsemen to raid Lucifron. Lucifron is trying to hold this front line, but there is still a massive hole in the middle of the map on those walls, allowing Wam to just trickle in some horsemen and distract Lucifron as much as possible.
Yeah, the raids are looking good for Wam. The villager count still relatively even between these guys. It's hard to find a difference between the two, but you can't help but feel Wam is just continuing to just put the foot down, and there's the difference now coming through. It's going to be Wam going to the Imperial Age, going down with the White Stupor, undoubtedly, somewhere. Probably, just outside the enemy base, it seems.
Is he actually dropping it there?
Oh, no, he's not. No, that's the step out. Never mind. I got excited.
Yeah. White Stupor coming down back at home indeed. So he's probably gonna back off, but that's where those towers come into play. That's going to be a nice buffer for him to buy time until he gets the upgrades, and once those are there, he's going to have the range advantage with the Springolds. He could possibly be thinking about some bombards, and the elite upgrades, those will mean business. And the thing is, for Lucifron, he needs to rely on a timing push, but for that, he needs to get through these layers and layers of towers.
All right, well, Wam is now in the Imperial Age. Still yet to trade at this point, which is a rarity for Wam, but a little bit of a counter push going to be coming out now. Lucifron looking to try and take control of his own base and regain this central sacred site. Remember, not too long ago, he had all 3 sacred sites, and he's going to be able to surround the Springolds. Never mind, he says we'll come back for those later. Let's focus on the crossbows, and he does so well. But now we've got some more spears looking to come out. He's got elite spears on the way, elite horsemen coming through, but it definitely feels like it might be too late because the tides have turned. The Khan, he's out. He's not dead, but it feels like he might be with Wam crushed down to 139 population. Lucifron is looking to clinch this game right now, and his push is looking very strong behind this.
Talk about a timing push, and as I said, he has to get through those towers, but he just ignored them. He just ran past them, and now he's ready to punish an Imperial Age here from Wam. Wam spending all his resources on Imp, down to 18 army only, yet to even finish with the upgrades, and look at Lucifron, 87 army. The momentum is on his side. He's gonna have a weaker army in the long run, but he has massive numbers advantage at this moment.
This is exactly what Lucifron needed. He needed a way back into this game. He's somehow found it. I don't know how the man did it. He's a magician. It's maybe something to do with that Khan. But yeah, at this point, Wam going to have to rebuild from nothing. And keep in mind, I mean, he's sitting on 124 villages, so he should be able to rebuild relatively quickly. But it's going to be on the defense that he tries his best to hold on.
And the thing is that now Lucifron is the aggressor, also at 200 population, so he can easily afford to think about Imperial Age himself. So all the imp advantage that Wam has had, it's gonna be gone.
All right, well, continues to clean up this. It's going to be a siege workshop that's going down. It's got a unit making as well. Probably a good idea to avoid making a unit in that siege workshop, but the farm transitions come through, and it looks like Lucifron going to be aging up. What's the direction that he chooses to go? Is it going to be that College of Artillery that we
should be
coming down? Indeed it is. It is the College of Artillery being built with just a handful of villagers. He's taken out all the food from his guild, or rather all the gold from his guild hall, and moved it back onto food. He seems to be switching between the two.
Indeed, he's got a ton of gold right now, and the thing is that he now has map control, so he can move out for the additional gold mines. On the other hand, his farms have been raided for a long time, so he needs food a little bit more than gold right now. He's going to switch it back to food for the time being. Also, he might be going on a very food-heavy composition here with horsemen, especially because he kind of needs to deal with the horsemen raiding his base.
Yeah, nice little raid behind enemy lines over here. Lucifron going to be losing a handful of villagers as they do attempt. When I say handful, geez Louise, that is more than a handful. I've got a hand with a lot of fingers, but I tell you what, that ain't going to be enough. Imperial Age now reach for Lucifron. Let's take a look at the upgrades that he's going for. We see elite horsemen coming through, elite arbaletier. We see, what's that one called? Go on, Lidacor. I know that you know it. Crossbow stirrups. Never mind.
Yep, it's crossbow stirrups. Indeed it is. There is Vodka showing that to us. Very expensive upgrade, but it's also a massive power spike for the arbaletier. That's where they really become essentially an all-purpose unit rather than just an anti-armor specialist.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The extra attack speed really helps him out. But speaking of an extra attack speed, we got roller shutter triggers coming in for Lucifron, despite access to the Culverin. I guess he's got so many Springalds out, it really makes sense for him to move into that. But Wam looking to try and get back into the game through raiding. He's up to 200 population.
Look at Lucifron's villager count. It's dropping. He didn't notice the lumberjacks being slain on the north. So much damage done.
Khan coming out in support as well, but there's a bit of a cleanup crew here. Lucifron looks like he might be able to take out the Khan. I'm not going to say it, but you guys know exactly what I'm thinking.
I mean, you were saying that, but look at the eco of Lucifron. In a blink of an eye, he just fell down to 94 villagers and keeps dropping. Arbaletria too slow to catch up. Villagers not being pulled. Lucifron is losing his entire eco here, Ozzy.
Yeah, he's under 90 villagers now. The eco difference is starting to really show. More than 45 villages, or 44 villages rather, difference between these two guys. It is really starting to stack up. But that Culverin, as well as the Springald's going to have to head back to the pavilion. Nothing here to protect them. There's Arbaletria down to the south, but unfortunately they're all too busy dealing with the horsemen. And now more and more siege, fortunately, making it back to safety. Jeez, these Arbaletria are looking good though, aren't they?
They're looking good, really, but what's behind this for Lucifron? You get the fear that now it's only that group of Arbaletria keeping him alive, because his eco is a train wreck, he lost a lot of siege as well, and once again you get the feel that Wam is taking over.
Yeah, it is looking good. He's actually had more military there for a second than he had villagers, but he's managed to recover. He's up on 85 villages now, but still down 50 villages, and the Wam starts to pull ahead even further. It's crazy to think of the difference between these two guys. Lucifron was heavily focused on clearing out the outpost from in front of his base, and as a result, it kind of delayed his push towards Wam's base, and subsequently, Wam was able to recover with regard to his military numbers, and now Wam is just flooding in units non-stop, and this is where it gets so difficult to hold on. I mean, Lucifron's done a great job to survive, to push it back this point. I'd be curious to see how he manages to win this game, if at all possible.
Wam is doing an unbelievable job with these raids, really. He strikes where it hurts the most, and look at that. Everywhere where the Arbaletria aren't, he's going to dive in, snipe the siege now. He's been picking off villagers. Lucifron is at the world of pain right now. Those horsemen are tearing him apart.
And finally, we see some closer walls. We talked about this a bit earlier. The consequence of going for those larger walls is if you don't finish them, leaves a gaping hole for your enemy to run right through, and that's exactly what Wam's been exploiting all game. And finally, we start to see a little bit less of crazy walls and a bit more closer walls.
But is it coming too late, Ozzy? He's down to 85 eco. Heavy hit on the farming eco as well. He's down to just 1,000 food per minute when he's going for still a very food-heavy composition, and the raids are far from over. In fact, Wam is prepping the next wave, and it is just a never-ending war of attrition. Wave after wave of horsemen grinding down your eco. Lucifron is trying to recover with that, but the momentum seems to be so massive for Wam, especially with the addition of premium units, hand cannoneers those are, appearing now on the battlefield.
Yeah, once the hand cannoneer spearman combo comes out, it's going to be very difficult for Lucifron to stabilize after that. Just simply because being supported by all these outposts. Take a look at the emplacements that are coming through. These aren't normal Springald emplacements, mate. These are cannon emplacements. The best in the business.
And with the Weisstupa now, you can just spam those because you're going to have a non-stop source of stone forever, essentially.
With College of Artillery likely to go down as well. The Trebs are looking for targets on that front line, and it seems like it might be next up.
And look at the villagers once again, just being slayed one after another, and they just can't catch a breath. The eco of Lucifron is a train wreck right now. Barely any wood in the bank, little gold, little food, and look at the creep. Lucifron has to deal with these raids one after another, and that is a window that Wam is using to just creep up more and more with those towers, while also still able to kill villagers here at the back.
And pulling more and more vills off the farms, it really starts to hurt for Lucifron. He's got plenty of upgrades, but just the farming economy is just constantly getting hit. And I think the painful part for me is that there's so much space behind his base that he could have looked to put those farms down, and he just never did. He's subsequently just been absolutely destroyed by these constant threats to his farms.
As we are saying that, Lucifron is still alive, and look at the army numbers, 90 to 51, and that is a scary amount of horsemen for Lucifron, scary amount of Arbaletria too. I could easily see Lucifron sending in his horsemen and doing equal amounts of damage to Wam's eco, though Wam might be fine taking some eco hits actually, because that 150 villagers he's sitting on feels a bit like an overboom actually.
Yeah, I think 140 is probably about the best you want to go at this point when you're just throwing away units like this. But yeah, you do definitely have to be careful because right now Lucifron's sitting on double the military of Wam, but he's never really had to take a straight up fight, so it seems fine for now.
Yeah, it seems fine for now. And Vam's got the buffer of those towers. That's the big thing, right? So Lucifron would have to flank around. Do keep in mind that we are getting closer and closer to the domain where that guild hall and the gold that it gives is going to come online. Vam is running low on gold now. He's stripped the map barren of resources, essentially.
We'll take a look at the guild hall. It's got 60 wood in it. Of all things, it's 60 wood. I didn't expect that, but villagers pulling out their daggers up towards that large stone outcropping. Looking to try... yeah, look at that, 60 wood. Jeez, I mean, it's technically sufficient, but she says otherwise. Push coming forward now. Villagers going to be able to take down the enemy vills. It looks like the outpost does get up, but they'll be able to siege this bad boy down.
Yep, short-lived tower out there, that's for sure. Still, more and more horsemen are grinding into the eco of Lucifron. Although he has recovered in terms of villagers and he's back to 200 population, Lucifron is doing a stellar job here surviving. He's been on the back foot for the last 15-20 minutes, but he's doing a spectacular job just not dying, essentially.
Yeah, congratulations, you didn't die, but you're still dying. It's a very slow fall off the edge right now. But yeah, things... I mean, he's honestly done a really good job of not dying. You said that quite well. But now those cannon emplacements going to be coming out. Now, a key factor to remember here is the cannon emplacement's got 10 range on it. A cannon, a bombard, they've also got 10 range on them. So it's very effective at sniping those bad boys out. And you can see the cannon having a lot of trouble here, taking out the outposts.
Oh man, this could be a very long game here at this pace. Lucifron's gonna have the chance to launch a counterattack with the horseman. He just seems hesitant because he's afraid of Vam's forces. Little does he know that Vam doesn't really have a massive standing army. Most of his military population is actually occupied by just Springolds. So if Lucifron went for a massive counterattack with his horsemen and do some eco raiding, that could be interesting, especially because his opponent is transitioning to trade.
Hello, Wam is trading. It is a famous saying. Made popular by Beastie Cutie, and it is looking like it may be living up to its truth here, as Wam once again looks to begin trading.
Indeed, the question is whether Lucifron is going to trade. He has a good trade civilization with the French, but it's a different story. And look at that. Oh, lag.
Okay. We're all right. We're struggling. I'm just going to keep making noises so that you guys on Twitch know that we're seeing it as well. Get your Fs out, but not the full F. Maybe like an L. Just give me the start of an F, not the whole thing. All right. We're good. Frame rate is slowly climbing back up past the double digits, rather past the single digits.
Slow and steady wins the race. Frames are coming at this pace.
All right. Well, 47 minutes in. We told Vodka we're going to need an internet connection for 46 minutes, and he's like, I can do 46 minutes, but we didn't think the game would go this long. So now 47 minutes, and the downloads have started again, so he might have to get on to his roommate. But it looks like we've stabilized in both the internet connection and for Lucifron.
Indeed, my precious frames are back. And for Lucifron, the last couple of moments have been pretty spectacular, actually. He's been taking some good engagements, and look at the army numbers once again. 102 now for him. And if he could catch Vam in the middle of that trade transition, that could leave Vam vulnerable. Though Vam's actually stacking up a lot of resources. I'm gonna ask you the crazy question now. What do you think is the probability of a wonder from Vam at this space?
3.333% recurring, of course. Can we have a look over at Wam's trade? It looks like it may be dying. Indeed, there is a slight horseman raid going on. It was checking for trade. Did indeed find it. What are the numbers that Wam's traders are bringing back in? Are we able to have a look at that? I'm going with 186.
Lower than that, 126.
Oh, my lord. All right.
Well, there's none because all got killed.
No, there was one. There was a lone trader who made it through the forces. It's making its way back right now. We may be able to catch him. Yeah, well, we just went past him. He's gone past us. He's got... Don't worry.
Can't find him. Where is he?
There's a... Down. He's about to do it on the landmark. No, he's going to cash it in. Oh, there he goes. No, click it. Oh, I saw it, my lord. Vodka, don't do me like this. You can do the frames, but don't do the trader. Not like that.
We're going to have to wait another turn for that. We're going to get back to this guy at some point. Anyways,
Right.
big push coming in the middle though. Wam was distracted by that traitor himself too, apparently.
It seems that way, as he's lost almost all of the units back here, but there's a couple of horsemen looking to cause some trouble. There's that trader that we were talking about, but a little bit of a push on the front line. Wam still holding on to 200 population. Lucifron dropped down to 182. The Trebuchet is looking to try and stay alive. He turns around to fire down upon the units that are here. We don't see a Mangonel in sight just yet. The Trebuchet coming out from Lucifron as well. He's got 3 of them out looking to clear out the emplacements on these outposts. All right, well, the Arbiter numbers looking pretty decent. He's going to try and come through with the charge. A lot of horsemen out here. Hand cannoneers on the back line, but Arbiter should trade pretty well into them. They're quite an effective unit, even in these low or even in these higher numbers. But now the horsemen moving forward. Things looking good for Lucifron. I'm impressed that he's holding on this long. A bit of a 30 population difference between them, but he's got lots of resources in the bag.
And look at that, he's keeping his Arbaletria blob alive. Not just keeping them alive, actually healing them back up as well with a couple of monks. Such a delicate thing here. He has been holding on for so long, and Wam is trying to break him, but he can't. The raise didn't work, the direct push didn't work, the tower creep didn't work, and that counterattack with the horsemen was just enough of a distraction to allow Lucifron to take down the towers, and Lucifron is more alive than ever, has a really good balance of eco and army. 90 to 99, very well balanced out there, whereas for Wam, his unit composition feels a little wacky here. Maybe too much siege, too little standing army.
All right, well, I'm just catching back up. For anybody who noticed, I was behind by a few seconds. I guess that's just the consequence of the stream. Technically, I was behind by 13 seconds, but we fixed it all up now. And geez Louise, ain't this battle looking decent. The longer this goes on, the better Lucifron starts looking, honestly.
Yeah, indeed. He's looking better and better. He's barely using any unit. The ones that he's losing are cannon fodder, the horsemen, but barely an Arbaletri are being killed, and you would think that the hand cannoneers would do well, but the thing is that those are fragile units and expensive. The Arbaletria here is a better deal for the money you pay for it.
Especially when you got this many, because typically you're going to be looking to focus down the unit that's closest to you. And so with the hand cannoneers, they're going to be overkilling the enemy target by about 1,000%, whereas the Arbaletria, it's going to be a much lower number just because there's so damn many of them and they do a lot lower damage.
And keep in mind the Gambeson's upgrade as well. The melee armor on those bad boys are also massive. So the horsemen or even the spearmen coming out here for Wam, they are doing minimal damage to those guys. Wam looks like he's trying to assemble another big force of horsemen to counterattack, but for a long time first, Lucifron is taking over this game possibly because now he feels confident that he's breaking out of his base.
Yeah, he's looking a lot better. And, I mean, ideally, this is what Wam wants to avoid. He doesn't want to take a head-on fight. And now we can see the traders. Is that trader stuck or is he sleeping? 187. What did I say? I think I said 186. Liticor. I nailed it. I nailed it. All right. I've lost Liticor. You guys are still hopefully here with me.
I was just stunned about your skills of predicting trade. Good job, Drunga. Good job. I'm proud of you.
I feel like you weren't impressed at all.
Come on, man. I legit was.
That was pretty. All right. Well, we continue to watch this game unfold as we enter the 53rd minute now. Things are, I would say they're getting spicy, but I'll be honest with you, they've been spicy since the first minute of this game. It's been action-packed the whole way through. Now those hand cannon is going to get repelled. The landmark still yet to be repaired. But still, Lucifron holds on. How is he managing to do this with 76 villages, by the way?
It's the value retention on those Arbaletri. He's barely using any of those, right? Oh, traders also getting picked off on the other side, but those Arbaletri, they're barely being killed, so he doesn't need to spend tremendous amounts of resources on his army because the most important part of his army is kept alive non-stop.
The cannon emplacements looking to get some decent shots off. Remember, those things have a great return on investment. 1 or 2 shots from those bad boys will clean up 7, 8, 9 Arbaletria, and that's where it really starts hurting. But now we got some monks out. Look at this. Raise your hands if you are a French enjoyer, and they are raising their hands indeed. Look at them go. Healing up everything. And now Wam getting pushed back. He's down to 168 population. He's got 132 villages, but just doesn't have the oomph in the army. And this is the consequence of almost over-investing in villages, potentially, where Lucifron's just got a military population of 91. And it's very difficult for Wam to challenge that.
And remember, that's where the guild hall comes online. Wam is out of gold, so he needs to invest into trade, whereas on the other side, if you ever need gold, you can still go for the guild hall. And the value retention is also massive on those Arbaletier. Love the way that he's healing up those Arbaletier non-stop. Keeping those alive is such a critical part of Lucifron's gameplay here. Part of the reason why he's still able to maintain a strength for his force, even though his eco is not spectacular. It's because he's barely losing units.
Yeah, this makes it very difficult for Wam now. Coming through, he's got 54 population. It jumps up to 60 military population. He's got 18 horsemen in queue and 2 mangonels in queue ready to go. But now looking to clean this up. Keep in mind, he doesn't have access to walls, so it's going to be a little bit harder, or at least not until next patch, right, guys? Wood, he's got 80 wood in the bank. Not a lot of wood, but the Treb's looking decent, though. The fact that he's moving forward with these Trebs is a great sign because he's able to push out of his own base. The thing he's got to worry about is... Oh, you see what's in queue, right? Vodka just pointed to it. It's Randy.
It's our border
He's
queen.
back. He's back and he's angry. Monk goes down, getting sniped out by the Springalds. Keep in mind, those are Mongol Springalds with the improved roller shutter triggers. Look at him from downtown, outranging the Trebuchet. That is just your classic Mongol Springald right there.
And look at that, sniping the monks as well, even more valuable because Wam has been quietly amassing a massive force of horsemen over here trying to jump on the Arbaletier. Little does he know that Lucifron also has a cavalry force almost as big as his.
Yeah, things starting to really heat up now. In the late game, we enter into the 55th minute, and damn, that's a lot of horsemen. But remember, these Arbaletier have got extra melee armor. These guys are packing so much armor. You don't want to fight with them.
Ozzy. The mangonels!
Oh, it's a decent unfold. The Reboldequin, it's rolling out onto the field. Get him, Randy boy. Here he comes. Watch, keep your eyes out on the Reboldequin. He's going to begin unfolding, going to begin unpacking. Here he goes. Get him ready. Oh, there he goes. Look at that damage. Look at that DPS. No, don't kill. Look how quickly he dies. Randy, you are useless.
Oh man, the Reboldequin's still paying for its price to a certain extent at least. Dishing out some punishment on the horsemen, but once again, it's the backbone of the army that still stands strong for Lucifron. He was at 62 Arbaletier at the beginning of this fight. He is down to 57 right now, barely losing any army, whereas for Wam, he had to sacrifice everything to take this fight. Momentum seems to be so much in the side of Lucifron now.
I think we need to buff the Reboldequin because it is just like, it just gets picked off. It wasn't even close. It was just like, he was just like, he came in like a damp rag.
I mean, right now it's currently just as useful as a banana peeler or something like that.
That's a good idea. We should invest that. Okay, I'm gonna put that down on my drop shipping list. A banana peeler. I will look into that. All right. Well, Lucifron is regrouping in the center. Plenty of military out here. 100 population compared to 64 over on the other side for Wam. So still those numbers aren't looking decent, but a lot of the siege did get taken out. He's got no siege out on the field at the moment. A single archer, 60 Arbaletier, a monk, and 38 horsemen. But now we've got ourselves a little bit of a proxy base coming in on the south side.
Indeed, it looks like Wam tries to find a new angle. Problem is that he's still gonna have to hold this. Choke points are helping him quite a bit. Those buildings are creating natural chokes for his spearmen to defend against the horsemen, so Lucifron is hesitant to push in. But at some point, he's going to think about that. Or, if he spots those villagers on the right side, he could just go in for a raid and devastate the lumberjacks of Wam. Now, finally, not just Wam trading, but Lucifron as well. French trade coming online, ladies and gents.
Yeah, get excited. It's going to be that famous French trade coming out, but Lucifron, once again, continuing to push through, and I genuinely don't know how it's happening, but apparently French in the late game have suddenly become S tier overnight and are incredibly good. What is going on in this game? Why is Lucifron able to keep up with Wam in this late game despite having significantly less villagers for the majority of it? As we just saw Wam deleting villagers.
Why is Wam getting professional scouts right now?
Wait, what?
Look at the right side of the screen.
What could... That's got to be a misclick, right? It's got to be a misclick.
Poor Vodka's gonna try to find that for us, but...
Oh, he just cancelled it, I think. I think he just cancelled it. It takes a while to research. It surely didn't. It's not the classic... Stick that one on the thumb now. 58-minute professional scouts. What? Yeah, that's the 58-minute professional scout timing that we've known to...
He got it. He got it. Survival techniques is still there. So it had to be professional scouts.
Stick it on the thumbnail. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new meta. It is the 58-minute professional scouts. We got to ask him. I'm going to write that one down. Write him about that. Right. Professional scouts, 58 minutes. New meta, potentially, question mark?
Oh, indeed. If it was survival techniques, I would have understood it. There is still a board to be taken, and at this pace, we are taking all available resources from the map, so at one point you're gonna have to go for that board. But professional scouts, puzzling indeed, likely just a misclick. He's too busy massing spearmen and horsemen. Look at those numbers. Wam is up to 100 himself.
Jeez. Does this game even have an ending in sight? You alluded to it a little bit earlier. You said, do we potentially see Wam going for a wonder to win this game? And I gave you a 3%. Oh my lord, look at that, a stone wall. Congratulations, Lucifron. That is exactly what you needed 45 minutes ago.
Better late than never, right? He's also digging trenches at the towers. Most importantly, Wam is keeping control over one sacred site, so Lucifron couldn't trigger a sacred site victory. So as you said, this could be a very long trench warfare here, but I love how Wam is banking up resources, because once Carnage is unleashed and we turn this into a slugfest, that extra resource bank over Lucifron could pay dividends.
Well, the second hour of this game has now officially begun. Keep in mind, this is the first game in the series, so if you guys were hoping for a best of 7, well, let's just say I may have been hoping for a best of 7. Not the case anymore. This is going to be a clean sweep because I'd like to get to bed today rather than tomorrow. But over on the other side of the map, Lucifron doing a decent job to clean up that trade. Now, keep in mind, he's just put that stone wall down for himself, which means hopefully he should be able to keep his own trade safe.
Oh my goodness, 74 horsemen here for Wam. Both players below 100 villagers now. In fact, Wam is down to 74 eco, 126 army on the field. Now is the time to push.
The Mangonels continue pushing forward. You can see that they're just looming and looking to try and get a connection right now, but there's so many units coming out from Wam. He's got a whole bunch of spears out here as well. It's classic trash wars, despite a few of the Mangonels coming out, but the Mangonels looking their best to try and get some shots out. Not going to have too much luck, but the Culverin's out. Get him, boy. Get him, boy. And he does indeed get him. All the Mangonels go down, and Wam looks to try and clinch out this position, but Lucifron looks to hold it on. 186 population for him, 185 for Wam. Things looking really good, but the horseman numbers looking very healthy for Wam. Is he going to be able to push in? He's going to look to try and take out the back line. We saw some villagers moving forward from Wam. I think he was trying to drop a keep down, but quickly realized, hold on a minute, I'm the Mongols.
Oh yes, distraction now coming in here. He's sending his forces to the back of Lucifron's base, and we're back where we came from. Essentially just a slugfest over here. Lucifron once again holding. Wam can't really push deeper and deeper, but resource banks, that's the big difference between the two. And the fact that Wam has gold income and Lucifron doesn't. Lucifron is yet to start trading, really, despite the fact that he has markets. And that could be the difference maker here, because I don't think that this is sustainable for Lucifron anymore.
I think it's fine. He's maxed out. Yeah, he's maxed out. He's French. He's loving life. He's got trash that he can fall back on. Oh, he's focusing the guild hall. Oh, he's going for the landmark knife. Wam pulling the villagers. Is this it? We take a look over towards the base. This could be it. There's a lot of units moving across the map. He's focusing down the guild hall. It's got 320 wood in it. This could be it. He could actually, he's looking to take it out. And now we see the first of the landmarks go down. 3 of them still stand, but they've all got their torches out. Wam has had enough. He said, you know what? This ain't gonna finish unless I make it finish. And he looks to try and take his opponent out the good old-fashioned way.
But this is desperation rather than confidence. Look at this. He's running out of resources, down to 130 population. He's not doing this out of confidence. He's doing this out of desperation.
He's got nothing else behind this, and good game gets called! He taps out, Lucifron holds on, he wins the first game in the series after an absolutely mammoth 1 hour and 5 minutes. Good game.
What a slugfest, and what a swing in the end. It felt so much like Wam was gonna have this much better resource bank. Lucifron was holding, but Wam had trade set up, and you really felt like he just got a little too trigger happy. Maybe he felt desperate, maybe he felt confident, went for a landmark snipes, and got his entire army slain. Look at those graphs over there. The army count just dropping, evaporated in the blink of an eye. So were the villagers, and Lucifron holding for almost an hour over here. Stellar defense by him ultimately yields him a victory in game number 1. What an opener here, Aussie. And this is just game number 1 out of possible 7.
Whew. Well, if you didn't get yourself something to drink before that game, I will warn you guys now, you should probably go and get yourself something to drink now that that game is finished. Probably quite thirsty. That was an absolutely huge game. Whoa. I can't believe that. I can't believe after all those Khans dying that eventually Lucifron was in fact victorious. I think it had to be the 7th Khan.